We are starting with question 7. So let us first read the question. So figure 3 shows a sketch of a part of a curve C1. So here the curve C1 is given. So given that C1 has an equation y is equivalent to f of x, where f of x is a cubic function and which touches the x-axis at the origin. So here it's clearly mentioned that here it touches the x-axis at the origin. So which means here the curve C1 which is touching at origin, which is 0 and 0, and cuts the x-axis at x is equivalent to 4. So it's clearly mentioned that this is 4 and passes through the point 10 and 120. So let's say these values are x and our y values. Let's say this is our y value. Okay, clear? So it's very clearly given that our a point, so which will be, this will be our a, this will be our b. So from, it's mentioned that origin, so the word origin, which is nothing but starting point, which is 0 and 0, and cuts the x-axis at x is equivalent to 4. So now we have to find f of x, and then we know that since the curve is cubic, so we know what is general equation of cubic equation, that is y equivalent to a multiplied with x minus a, x minus b, x minus c. So we know that a value is 0, b value is 0, and c value is 4. So here I'll take this as c value, and then we'll get an equation, right? So y is equivalent to f of x, which is equivalent to a, and then x minus, what is the value of a, which is 0, what is the value of b, which is also 0, and what is the value of c, which is 0, or which is 4. The value of c is 4, x minus 4. So finally we'll get our cubic equation, which is a x squared x minus 4. So when you multiply this, this will be x cubed minus 4x squared. So we got our equation, which is f of x is equivalent to x squared and x minus 4. But this will not be our answer, so it is also clearly mentioned that passes through the point 10 and 120. So here we have to plug the value of x and y and find out the value of a. Okay, so to find a, so we need y, right? So y is what from the above equation. So let's say this is equation 1, so we'll plug the value y is equal to 120, a we don't know, and then what is the x value, which is 10 squared, and then 10 minus 4, so which is going to be 120 equivalent to a, and then 10 square is 100, and then 10 minus 4, which is 6. So we'll calculate that. A 100 times 6 is 600 and 120, so therefore a value will be equivalent to 120 upon 600, which is 1 over 5. So we got our a value. So let's plug this a value. Y is equivalent to a x squared x minus 4. So we'll substitute that value back in the equation, which is 1 over 5 x squared x minus 4. So this will be our answer for question 7 part A. So what will be our answer? F of x, which is also equivalent to y, and then which will be equivalent to 1 over 5 x squared x minus 4. So this will be our answer for part A. Let's do part B. Yes. So part B, here the curve C2 has an equation. So y is equivalent to 1.2x and 8 minus x. On the following page there is a copy. So they are talking about this figure 3, same figure. On the diagram we need to sketch a graph of the curve C2. So here there is a curve C1, so we need to obtain an equation for C2 and then we need to plot the curve. So let's do that. So by using the equation, what is the given equation? So they have given y is equivalent to 1.2x and then 8 minus x. So let us first multiply down this. So 12 times 8, which is going to be 96x, 9.6 minus 1.2 x squared, right? So when you multiply this, so if we rewrite, what we are going to get, the above equation, negative 1.2 x squared plus 9.6x. So from this it is clear that the given equation is what? Quadratic equation, right? So my bad. So the given equation is quadratic equation, right? And then also the coefficient of x square is what here? It is negative. So whenever the coefficient of the quadratic equation is negative, so we get our curve, which would be something look like this, right? And then now to find the to sketch the graph on the curve, so let's take y is equivalent to 0 and find the corresponding value of x. So just in the equation we have to plug the value of y is equivalent to 0. So y is 0, 1.2 x and then 8 minus x, right? So now if you take this, right, so 1.2 x is equivalent to 0 and then 8 minus x is equivalent to 0, right? So from here I can say x is 0, and also from this part we got that x is equivalent to 8. So which is very clear that our coordinates are 0 and 0 and then 8 and 0. So which means somewhere if this is 4, because it's mentioned that in the previous part, that is this is 4 and this would be 8. And also we need to know the turning point, okay, because the graph is something is going to be parabola, so it's very clear, but we don't know this point where it is touching. So this point we call it as a turning point. The turning point, so we need to find when x is equivalent to 4. So whenever we substitute in the given equation, we'll substitute the value of x is 4. So what we will get, y is equivalent to, what is our x value? 1.2 times 4 and then 8 minus 4 upon substitution. So I have already calculated in my notebook, so which is going to be, to substitute that, it is going to be 19.2. This value is going to be 19.2. So it's very pretty clear that this is going to be 19.2 and something, the if this point is 19.2, so then our curve would be something which you can see, which passes through 0 and 0 and something like this. So this point is 8, 0 and this would be 0, 0 and this point would be, which is going to be 4 and 19.2. So this is going to be our turning point. Okay, so I hope the graph part is very clear, how to sketch the graph. So it's, if I wanted to make it very clear, so I can show you the graph in a clear picture. Just you will draw something, right, something like this. This would be our graph. This is a parabola. Okay, so this will be point, so this is another point. So this would be 4, 19.2, this could be 8, 0, and clearly mention that this will be 0 and so 0. So this is our answer for 7 part B. So we have to sketch on the graph. Okay, now coming to the part C. Yes. So in the part C, let us read the part C. So use algebra to find the coordinate of the points where C1 and C2 intersect. Show each stage of your working. So since it is cubic equation, so we will have 3 intersection points, which is going to be, let's say, x1, y1, x2, y2 and x3, y3, because 3 point is going to touch somewhere. So based on the above equation, we need to see for the 2 equations somewhere it intersects, right? So we need to find out that. So to find out that, so we know already our equation, that is y equivalent to 1 over 5 x squared x minus 4, and then our another equation which we are going to use it, this is equation 1, y equivalent to 1.2x 8 minus x. To find the coordinates, so we need to equate these two and then we will get the value of x. Let us do that. Yes. So 1 over 5 x square x minus 4, which is equivalent to 1.2x and 8 minus x. So let us multiply this. This will be x cubed minus 4x squared, which is equivalent to this. I'll multiply with this. That will be 12 times 5 is 60, so 6x, which will be 6x, and then 8 minus x. So then we get finally x cubed minus 4x squared, which is equivalent to 6 times 8, which is going to be 48x, and then we'll multiply this, that is minus 6x squared. Now let me solve this algebraic equation really quick. So 4x squared plus 6x squared and then negative 48x, which is equivalent to 0. Take x common, then we'll get x squared minus, if you solve this, this will be 2x squared, so that will be plus 2x squared minus 48 is equivalent to 0. So therefore we got x equivalent to 0 and x squared plus 2x squared minus 48 equivalent to 0. So we'll solve this quadratic equation. X squared plus 2x squared minus 48 is equivalent to 0. So we can solve this. That will be x squared. Okay, so if you take x common, so this will be 2x, right? My bad. So this will be 2x. It will not be 2x squared, it will be 2x. Then x squared plus, here it will be, so if you solve this, so 8 minus 6x minus 48 equivalent to 0. So take x common. So this is factorized. Basically I'm factorizing here. Okay, so factorizing, so x plus 8 upon solving minus x plus 8 is equivalent to 0. So therefore our value of x could be x is x minus 6, x plus 8 is equivalent to 0. So therefore x is equivalent to 6, x is equivalent to 8, and then we have already got one more x value, which is x equivalent to 0. Now it's very important. So we need to get 3 coordinates, right? So 3 points where it will intersect. So when x is equivalent to 0, when x is equivalent to 6, and here x is equivalent to negative 8, right? So x is equivalent to negative 8. So now what we are going to do is we're going to substitute these value of x in our given equation. Either you can substitute here or here, any of the equation is also fine. So 1.2x and then 8 minus x, and then substitute the value 1.2, put the value of x as 0 and 8 minus 0, that will give you nearly 0. So when x is 0, y is also 0. So we got our first coordinate, which is going to be x is 0, y is also 0. now. And so substitute the value of x is 6. When x is 6, y is going to be 1.2. So substitute the value of x is 6. 8 minus 6. This is going to be upon calculation. So I have already calculated here. We get nearly our value is 14.4. So our y value will be 14.4. So our second coordinate will be 6 and 14.4. And then also we can now substitute when x is 8, right? So we can see clearly that, just a moment, sorry. Yes, so here we can say that x is equivalent to 8, negative 8, right? So that will be y is equivalent to 1.2 negative 8 x minus, that will be 8, right? 8 minus negative 8. So this upon calculation minus 153.4. So our third coordinate when x is 8, negative 8, our y value will be negative 153.4. So this will be our answer for the part C. So for part B, it is very clear that our curve would be something this, and then for our part A, our answer is going to be this. Okay, so I hope it is very clear and easy.